In this podcast episode, Stanford neuroscientist David Eagleman explores a broad spectrum of topics related to the human brain, including why we dream, the plasticity of the brain, the impact of technology and AI on cognition, and how individuals can deliberately reshape their brains to improve their lives. Through engaging discussion, Eagleman connects scientific insights with practical advice, reflecting on both the ancient workings of the brain and the emerging challenges and opportunities in a digital age. David Eagleman shares a novel theory about the purpose of dreaming, rooted in brain plasticity and evolutionary biology. He explains that the visual cortex in the back of the brain is vulnerable to takeover by other sensory systems like hearing and touch, especially when vision is lost or impaired. Research involving blindfolded sighted individuals demonstrated that after only an hour of deprivation, the visual cortex begins responding to other senses. To prevent such takeover, the brain defends this visual territory by generating random neural activity during REM sleep, resulting in dreams, essentially a form of neural self-preservation or territorial defense. This idea aligns with evolutionary needs since humans live on a planet with a regular cycle of dark and light. Dreaming sustains the visual system during darkness when it otherwise might degrade. Eagleman points out that dreaming correlates with brain plasticity across animal species and decreases as humans age and their plasticity declines. Eagleman emphasizes brain plasticity as one of the most empowering discoveries in neuroscience. He explains that while the brain reaches its peak number of neural connections around age 2, these connections are then pruned to form a refined internal model of the world. Early in life, individuals have high fluid intelligence and the potential to learn broadly. As they age, this shifts into crystallized intelligence, the knowledge and skills accumulated through experience. Despite this, plasticity remains into adulthood and across the lifespan. It just appears reduced because the brain no longer needs as much change. Crucially, Eagleman argues that individuals can actively cultivate brain change through seeking novelty and challenge. Learning new skills and engaging with complex tasks encourages the brain to build cognitive reserve, maintaining mental function even in the presence of degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. He cites a study of nuns who maintained cognitive health despite dementia pathology due to their active, socially rich lives. One fascinating perspective Eagleman offers is viewing the mind as a team of rivals, a collection of competing neural networks that influence decision-making. This internal conflict explains why people often feel torn over choices, such as indulging desires versus exercising restraint. Recognizing this internal diversity encourages strategies like Ulysses contracts, pre-commitments designed to constrain future behavior and avoid impulse-driven decisions. Such insight can help individuals align their actions more closely with their long-term values and goals, improving self-regulation and personal growth. Eagleman speaks optimistically about the role of the internet and AI in cognitive development, particularly among young people. He suggests that, unlike previous generations with limited access to information, today's youth have unprecedented exposure to diverse knowledge and role models via the internet and social media. This intellectual diet supports curiosity-driven learning, which strongly influences neural change and plasticity. He contrasts this with the past, when knowledge was often learned passively and without personal relevance. Eagleman also addresses concerns about whether reliance on AI might cause cognitive decline. He distinguishes between vicious friction, tedious tasks best offloaded to AI, and virtuous friction, which involves mentally demanding challenges essential for brain development. The key is using AI as a tool to amplify creativity and understanding rather than replace effortful thinking. The discussion includes practical advice for interacting with AI to maximize cognitive benefits. Eagleman encourages users to engage with AI as a conversational partner, posing questions, proposing ideas, and seeking critical feedback rather than passively accepting answers. He highlights the importance of asking AI to be brutally honest, to uncover blind spots and stimulate intellectual growth. This approach fosters active learning and reflection rather than simple outsourcing of thought. Regarding creativity, Eagleman explains that AI excels in recombining existing inputs, similar to human creativity's core process, but lacks the human ability to select and value novel ideas. Human judgment remains essential in choosing and appreciating truly original or meaningful creations. Eagleman shares insights on individual differences in brain function and perception, such as the spectrum between hyperphantasia, vivid mental imagery, and aphantasia, lack of visual imagery. He underscores that diverse neural experiences do not limit one's ability to succeed or think creatively, but rather offer different approaches to problem solving. He also touches on synesthesia, a condition where sensory experiences intertwine, such as seeing colors when reading letters, noting it as an example of the brain's varied wiring. These variations illuminate the fluidity and distinctiveness of individual brain architectures. On the topic of aging, dementia, and brain health, Eagleman emphasizes the importance of continuous mental and social engagement. He explains cognitive reserve, the brain's capacity to compensate for damage through sustained neural growth driven by learning, social interaction, and challenging activities. Contrasting active lifestyles with those who retire into isolation, he stresses that social complexity and ongoing novelty are vital to preserving cognitive function. He also highlights the importance of sleep, exercise, and diet as foundational elements of brain health. Eagleman addresses the current social climate marked by political polarization and echo chambers amplified by social media algorithms. He advocates for increasing the complexification of social relationships by recognizing commonalities across differences and appreciating the humanity in those with opposing views. He sees AI and the internet as tools that can help humans better understand diverse perspectives, though he acknowledges that the economic incentives behind social media platforms often promote divisiveness through attention-grabbing content. Nonetheless, he predicts opportunities for new social networks designed expressly for connection and constructive engagement rather than exploitation of dopamine-driven loops. Eagleman reflects on the distinct but complementary nature of AI and human intelligence. While AI systems are inspired by the brain's architecture, they operate fundamentally differently, especially given their need for massive training on data versus humans' ability to learn from few examples in real time. AI's jagged intelligence can produce impressive but sometimes nonsensical results. Humans bring subjective experience, internal understanding, and social-emotional capacities AI lacks. This distinction suggests a future where humans leverage AI as a powerful tool, akin to a motorcycle for the mind, to accelerate learning and creativity while preserving uniquely human qualities like empathy, judgment, and live connection. Eagleman foresees a renaissance in live interpersonal experiences like theater, live talks, and personal relationships as AI becomes ubiquitous. Throughout the conversation, Eagleman returns to how the brain is an adaptive organ shaped by evolution to optimize survival in a complex world. Whether through dreaming to maintain neural territory or through lifelong plasticity that allows for continuous learning and adaptation, the brain balances stability and flexibility. Technology and AI represent new frontiers in this ongoing evolution, offering tools that drastically expand our cognitive reach. Yet the core human experience, empathy, interpersonal connection, and the internal neural parliament of competing desires remains fundamental. Eagleman promotes a philosophy of growth centered on challenge, curiosity, and active engagement. He urges people to embrace difficulty and novelty as necessary to reshape their brains and achieve meaningful change. Humans can sculpt their neural structures by repeatedly stepping into zones that are frustrating but achievable. Whether learning a new skill, tackling complex problems, or cultivating social relationships, AI can complement this process by providing instant access to information and personalized tutoring, but it cannot replace the value of genuine effort, reflection, and human connection. The essence of personal growth lies in harnessing these tools to become better versions of ourselves while maintaining the empathy and complexity that define human nature.